Our next author is the author of Free Yourself from Grief, The Secret to Moving On with Life After the Death of a Parent. I am thrilled to welcome Julie Tourangeau. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you? I'm so excited.
I am fantastic and really thrilled to talk to you about Free Yourself from Grief, the death of a parent, something we all dread, or a lot of us for sure dread. Uh, Tell us about this book.
Absolutely. So this is something I've wanted to write for a while. My dad passed away in 2008, and it was a really horrifying experience in the sense that that so many of us can relate to, that the things that accompany death. Sometimes there's family drama or financial hardship, and the pain and grief of losing your mom or dad is difficult enough, but then there's usually a slew of other things in the mix that happens. And part of that, when we focus on the loss of somebody, when that love we felt in the physical leaves the material world behind, we tend to see and attract more loss in our lives. And the cost of choosing not to deal with this pain is just far too great. So I find that sharing the experiences after my dad passed away. So, my sister and I, we weren't even invited to the reading of the will, and we had really intense hardships. And if you were to ask me back during this loss, if I would be writing a book about overcoming it, I would have been like, yeah, right. I don't see how I'm going to get out of this one. And so I even write about how, which I consider one of the most magical times of my life, is the time of being homeless after my dad passed away, because it's really those miraculous solutions that come to you where you can see tangible evidence of being helped from the other side. So I totally believe that somewhere in between the coincidences in our life, we see tangible as evidence of the divine and consciousness. And I write about this story that really woke me up in a way after my dad passed away. I went to a women's health expo with all these healers and coaches in Birmingham, Michigan, and there was a psychic there, medium by the name of Lisa J. Smith. She was on CBS radio at the time. And I had no awareness that I'd be read or anything. Like, this is a few months after my dad passed, and my mom took me there to kind of cheer me up. We're like looking at salt lamps and stuff.
I've been to this with my mom too. Yep.
So, Lisa, she picked me out of a crowd of people, and she was giving like impromptu readings, and there's tons of people there. So even the statistical chances of getting read were slim. And so she picks me out of a crowd. She says, your dad is with you. He's giving you a big bear hug right now. And to validate it's him, he's showing me dark circles under his eyes. And that's like a weird thing to say. So my dad was actually super insecure about the circles and bags under his eyes. And that was a family secret. He used to borrow my mom's concealer in the bathroom when I was a little girl. I remember being like, that's weird. He used to call it a Tourangeau trait, that like one day I would get it. So her saying that was so weird. And she had so many other validating messages that it just sort of woke me up like, wow, energy is in absolutely everything. No one truly dies. Consciousness is with us. And when I've told this story over the years for people who have lost a loved one or a parent, it's just like instantly you can see they're already starting to free themselves from their grief. But there truly is a method to this. And that's why I really wanted to put it into a book about how to attract signs from heaven, how to overcome seemingly impossible circumstances. I mean, I went from being homeless to being featured in a national magazine. I rose in leadership in both insurance and natural foods, which is something I write about in my book. And too much synchronicity to say statistically that, it was just too obsolete of a chance that this would just randomly all happen. So I really wanted to put it out there to help people invite the miraculous into their lives through their mindset, and also to be able to communicate with their loved ones in a new way. So no one really dies. Everyone is still with you, and we become a part of that too when we leave. And I really do believe time on the other side, it just doesn't exist like it does for us in this realm. And when they can reach you through all directions of time, things will just start lining up. So that's something that I was really passionate about getting this message out. interesting, it happened in 2020. I just found myself, freed up with time and being able to write this book. And so many people are suffering from grief right now, whether it's, a loss of a loved one because of COVID-19, or the loss of sense of normalcy, and relationships are shifting and tons of people are moving, including myself, when I was writing this book. So there's tons of loss, and no one's above that in our own humanity. And I'm really excited to Lisa J. Smith, the first psychic that read me, actually wrote my foreword. So I'm really
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
So things really have come full circle for healing, and I'm just really excited to pay that message forward and just help anyone that's going through a major loss just know that you can find a silver lining and a path out of it, and you will enter into this new type of reality and relationship with your loved one, that they've never left you. They're always with you, and you are completely loved and supported always.
I love that. Um, do you feel like you had help from the other side in writing this book, in finding us and getting the book done? And if so, how? Tell us that story.
Timing is amazing. That's all I can say. I just feel like this whole year, as much as it's had its, tumultuous circumstances and issues, I can feel the guidance and the help from the other side so strongly. Even when I was about to finish writing this book, a week before my manuscript was due, I found myself, ending a 2-year relationship. And so my living situation changed, and I didn't know how I was going to be able to even finish writing this book. But with the work that the author incubator helps you prepare, it's like I had all the homework done where I knew exactly what I needed to implement that week, even though things were crazy. And things really worked out. I ended up dedicating my book to really the love of my life, that we were able to re-find each other again through those situations. So it's like I never would have dictated any of the change I've had this past year in my own finite human understanding. But when the shift happens, when shift is happening in your life, you just have to buckle up, trust it, let the universe rearrange and, shuffle things, like introducing author incubator into your life, finding this new path, and let it manifest. And then your wildest dreams come true. It's pretty amazing. So
That is how it works. You said it perfectly. Do you have a copy of your book there?
I do.
Let's show everybody. Here it is. Free Yourself from Grief: The Secret to Moving On with Life After the Death of a Parent by Julie Tourangeau. Congratulations, Julie.
You. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great job.